At the end of the year, they have $60,000 in profit. They did 600,000, they have 60,000. They get really excited. They go, oh, we did 10% profit. Like, I'm such a good entrepreneur. Well, you're not really. Owner's pay is actually really interesting, right? First of all, you have to understand how people get paid, all right? I think everybody is very familiar with the idea that you get paid for the work that you do. For example, I come to work, I am an accountant, I get paid for the job that I do, right? That's number one. The second way that we get paid are usually for things that we own, right? The things that we own either by lending it out, right? Or renting it out, leasing it out. So for example, if I own something that generates a profit in a sense of business, right? I get a percentage of that ownership, right? That's the two primary way you get paid in business, but most people confuse that. Okay, because a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of new entrepreneurs, when they started out, most likely you didn't hire an entire team. Most likely you're doing some or all of the work in a new business, right? Yeah. So you have to think, you get paid for that job, right? Even though you own the business, you're really getting paid for the job that you're doing in the beginning. In fact, sometimes you're paying less if the company's not making money. So an owner really needs to set that apart. They need to understand, hey, I'm doing this job. In your case, I'm being a videographer, I'm being an editor, right? If I were to hire someone to do this job instead of me in the marketplace, how much would that cost me? And then you have to pay yourself that salary because that's the job that you do, right? Yeah. Then if you run the financials of your business, then if there are leftovers, then those are your, I guess they won't be called salary, but those are your profits that are left over for owning the business. Okay. So it's extremely important for you to split those two things out. Now, a lot of times people go, well, I'm just starting out and I can't really afford to pay myself. Well, then it's important for you to understand that reality. You don't really have a business, right? In fact, you're funding the business. You're going into I should say this. You have a business that is going into the negative, right? And you are funding it with your labor. So you have to have that clarity. You have to have that understanding. You can't lie to yourself. You can't trick yourself. And I know so many entrepreneurs do this, right? And when they started out, they're just working and they give up $100,000 job to work in a business. And then at the end they don't pay themselves anything. And at the end of the year, they have $60,000 in profit. They did 600,000, they have 60,000. They get really excited. They go, oh, we did 10% profit. Like, I'm such a good entrepreneur. Well, you're not really, because you owe yourself $100,000 for the work that you do. Yeah. So it's important. It's important for an entrepreneur to understand that and figure that out. And even if you're not paying yourself, you have to have that clarity. Okay, I have to get my business to a certain level so that I can pay myself for the job that I do. And eventually, when you get bigger, when you start hiring people, right, you slowly work yourself out of that job, right? Most CEOs that I know, or most entrepreneurs that I know, most owners that I know, eventually work themselves out of a job, out of even the CEO position. Sometimes they're just an owner. Sometimes they're just an investor. They don't actually work in the business. They just own that part of the business.